Are we live?
All right, we are live.
Hey, everybody. I was looking for the counter and I wasn't paying attention. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. We're live. Welcome to the Authentic Live Hustle. Here we are, episode 23.
Episode 20.
23. Is that Michael Jordan's number? 23?
I don't know, man. It's been a long time since I was like 6.
Yeah. Oh, burn. Yeah. Good. It's a good burn, though. Welcome, everybody. It's 11:01. We're ready to roll. And I'm Colin Harms and my co-host Kelly Kennedy and Vijayan Swaminathan. These guys are phenomenal. I love co-hosting with them, and I look forward to this every single week. So let's roll. What do we got in the queue for topics, VJ?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
we got some good ones. Let's just preface what we've been doing. So first off, I do apologize that we have not had the spin the wheel for you guys. We've actually gotten messages. Where is our spin the wheel? So apologies. We wanted to revamp the spin the wheel topics. We wanted to make sure that every topic in there was something that either myself, Colin Harms, or Vijayan Swaminathan was an expert in, so that we could have a proper discourse. What we were finding was that a lot of the topics coming up, we weren't exactly experts on. And even though we love to kind of shoot from the hip and do what we can, it's always great to speak to something that you're really, really good at, really passionate about. And so we've actually revamped a lot of the topics behind the scenes to get back to the spin the wheel to give you guys a better show. So trust me, the wait will be worth it. And we are back to it this week.
All right.
Yeah, let's go. So we have like new set of topics. So let's go spin the wheel and see what it gives us today. Yeah, let's go. All right. So we have 3 topics: consumer empowerment, humanity, how tech gives customers more control in markets. Number 1. And the second topic is, should you post less, but with more value? Authentic growth questions. Interesting. Yes. Tech solutions for navigating international tariffs.
Now
Interesting.
Let's get rid of tariffs. They're done. They're gone. Let's talk about something interesting.
VJ,
Yep.
I feel like it's your turn, man. You pick whatever one you want to speak to this week.
Should you post? I think this is something I relate to. Should you post less, but with more value?
Okay.
Sure.
I love it.
I like that. So that's the topic I've picked.
Okay. Love it.
All right,
love
let's do it.
So VJ, you picked it, man. Why don't you lead us off? What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
First off, should we maybe specify where?
You post less with more value. I mean, when we talk about posting, we're talking about social media here, everyone. So should you post less? It's about like giving value, right? It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. I think that's what it means. So, I mean, anything I think we have spoken to a little bit in the past, but anything that even if a person spends 5 seconds or 30 seconds, it's not about me. I think it's about what value the person is getting, the consumer or the reader are getting it. It's about them. And even if they took a 0.1% of value, I think it's a win. So I think value, quality, that matters. And I think my posts from 6 years before or 5 years before, it was pathetic. I mean, it's awful. And like, I'm learning it like.
Yeah, I just wasn't posting back then.
Right.
I was like, who needs to do this crazy social media stuff? I love it, man. I love it. I feel like maybe the best benefit that we can give to the listeners today is to maybe go through our lessons that we've learned, right? As podcasters and as entrepreneurs, as we've really embodied posting would maybe be the right way of saying it. We've really embodied utilizing social media as a tool. For me personally, over the last 2.5 years, I would say I wasn't doing a lot pre the business development podcast, but I felt like I had to learn how to do it as I went along. I didn't even realize why, I don't think. I just realized that I wanted to use it to promote the show, get the word out there. But what I didn't realize at the time was the power of posting and how it was really going to become the medium of choice, I think, for a lot of businesses, 2023 and beyond. But at the time, none of us really saw it. I think COVID changed everything because we were forced to use social media to connect as opposed to connecting in person as we'd done it for our entire lives before that point, right? But COVID hit. we couldn't see anybody. We couldn't do anything. Businesses couldn't connect with their customers. They had to find another way. Many of them started embracing social media. And I think LinkedIn, I think we really have to talk to LinkedIn. This is a LinkedIn live show for a reason. LinkedIn absolutely took over business social media, period, right? If you're thinking B2B business, LinkedIn is king. It is everything. And so I think I'm going to just maybe preface that I imagine most of our advice in this particular show is going to be guided towards LinkedIn. I think you can piggyback that into YouTube, Twitter, or I guess X at this point, YouTube, X, Instagram, something along those lines. However, for me, at least personally, 99% of the stuff we talk about today will be my experience on LinkedIn. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I mean, like when I think about posting, one thing that quickly comes to everyone's mind is like the followers, right? The followers, the engagement, the likes and whatnot. Although they might seem important, but this is my version. I could be completely wrong here, but like it is important, but at the same time, don't pay too much attention to it, right? Because sometimes they're a phenomenal content. They may just have 100 followers or something. But I think if you stop paying it, it is like the title you have in an office, right? Oh, you're the CEO, the founder, and things like that. The following kind of like, it's a trap mentality. Like I have felt it. It's an endless chase because once you get to 100,000 following, right, then you're chasing 1 million following, then you're chasing the 10 million, right? So it's a never-ending cycle of trap. I would just focus on providing value and then get out of it. Post, give value, come out of it. That's just wanted to add the 2 cents. Sorry, Colin. Please go ahead.
No. I look at this almost daily and research it and find out what's better for me or my companies. But the number one thing that I've been learning is quantity will get you seen, quality will get you remembered.
I love that saying.
And that hits home. And where I use it is I'll use that in real estate, which is out there a lot more than my other businesses. It needs to be out there, but not just blasting it out there, right? The quality of the post means everything because that's what people will say. Hey, VJ, I saw this property and maybe it, because people know people, and that's where I believe that happens. And I'll use real estate for that. If I'm just blasting crap out there, over and over and over and over and posting myself, and I'll use an example. I saw a real estate post yesterday, a coming soon post, and it looked like, I don't even know. It looks like it might be a decent house from the outside because all I saw was a quarter of it. But what I saw was 100% of the realtor's body and his face. And I'm like, I'm not sure if he was being sold or the house. I'm being facetious, but to me, that's just quantity. Getting out there. That's not quality. But for me to want to go back, I'm not going to remember why to go back. There was no address. There was no nothing. There was no bait, right? It was just a picture of him, right, standing in front of this garage. Right. So to me, that's useless. So.
Yeah. Like what you're saying is basically the context matters, right? Like if you're talking about a house, show the damn house, right? Like don't just show your face. If you're talking about something that and it's you and you're the showcase, maybe teaching, absolutely. Have it right up to your face, Yeah. But I love what you're saying. Basically, the context of the post matters. If you're talking about a house, show the house. If you're talking about yourself or you're talking about a concept or you're teaching, show yourself. Absolutely. But make sure that the post makes sense. I think maybe is what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's
Make
good.
sure that what you're trying to show makes sense. The question here is quantity. Is it more important to have high quality over quantity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of the things that I've learned over, my years now of posting is that it doesn't matter what you post, you don't know which post is going to engage. And I don't care like how rich and famous you are or how much money you're dumping into something. I've interviewed people who've done the videos for celebrity people who say there's no rhyme or reason to what the algorithms pick up. Like they change it all the time. And these guys, what they're trying to do, these video production people, these social media experts, they're always trying to game the system. They're trying to understand what changed on the back end, what is being promoted, right?
Yeah.
But even they don't know. Even the people who do this for a living, it changes so often that even they have a hard time keeping up with the algorithms because they want to make sure that for their celebrity clients that they're getting picked up, they're getting engaged. And yes, there is a certain level of pickup simply because they're celebrity. However, there's still an algorithm happening behind the scenes, right? And so I think maybe the important thing to understand is in your social media, you could have the best video, the best images, the best message. It still might not get picked up that day. And what you'll find is the next one you post, maybe it's really simple. Maybe it's just like some words in a picture or just something you hand typed on vacation. Suddenly that thing's getting pushed all over the place and you're getting, let's call it 10,000, 15,000 engagement on that very simple post. Colin, you had a great example of that.
Yep.
You've done plenty of simple posts that got a ton of engagement and you've done really high-end posts that maybe didn't, right?
I'm still are happening that way.
Yeah.
I'm still testing and measuring.
Yeah.
And so I did a video. I didn't realize how quiet I was talking, right, in my red chair. And now I get texts. People saying, hey, man, that really resonated with me. And then I'll click back on it and I'm like, why was I so somber? But I wasn't. I was just being authentic, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to be something, but it's amazing how that one keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And so the quality, I guess, right? And just being real. And then when you take it to the business platform, I'll use my other business, like say Hypervac, it has to be 100% quality, right? Because that's it. That's the hook, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing warm and fuzzy. It's just here it is because we are selling a product, right? We're building something and we're selling it. So it has to be about that, right? So VJ, that's where I believe less is more, right? And it keeps them wanting more, right? So then we do another launch or we're doing another product launch this week. And I think that's where we don't want to just go out there and throw 1,000 darts at the board, right? I want to throw one and throw it precise and think about it, be analytical about it and hit the target. And I think that the people out there waiting for it, right? That's when they catch it. They'll really grasp it and be all over it.
Well, it's funny because you're talking about like for essentially corporations and companies, there's an expectation at a certain level that the quality is going to be high, right? Yeah. Like there's an expectation that if Hypervac puts out a product video, that it is a damn good product. That makes sense, right? But the other side to this, and we talked about this morning, right? There's a lot of great podcasts. We were talking about this morning because, Colin's going to be launching his podcast soon. Yay! Get on it, Colin.
Sewing the needle.
But what we were talking. Sorry, Vijay. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to
No, you're not.
So what we were talking about at that point was that he was asking, how much content should you put out there? And I said, as much as you can. I really mean that from a standpoint of, I believe in my experience in creating social media content, podcasts, authentic hustle, more is more, period. And I truly believe that in a time where content is just driving everything, searchability is driving everything, the more situations that you can have yourself out there, whether it be a podcast, whether it be on your social media content, whether it be on YouTube, the more that you can do, the higher the chance that one of these algorithms is ultimately going to pick you up and promote you. And that has been my experience, right? I truly believe that I'm a searchable person now simply because of the sheer amount of content I put out. And yes, a lot of it is great. Maybe not all of it is great though, right? Sometimes it was just, I needed to get something out. I had a quick post I wanted to put up. I didn't put a ton of thought into it, but it still went out there. However, if you hop on ChatGPT and ask, who is Kelly Kennedy in business development, it'll give you a gigantic list. It'll link to a whole bunch of different things that I put out there in the world. And that's not coincidence. A lot of content being put out there with my name on it. I don't know, man. The other example, Colin, that I gave was the success of the Business Development Podcast. Listen, 2.5 years, 253 episodes and counting. That is just a lot of content. And I'll be honest, it was a mistake. In the beginning, I didn't think about how much work putting 2 episodes a week out there would be. So I just committed to that from day go. I was like, every Wednesday, every Sunday, we'll put out a show, right? And I did. But it's been an absolute ton of work to keep up to that. However, I have caught up to shows that have been around for 10 years because they only posted, let's call it twice a month or once a month, right? So I've been able to essentially catapult the Business Development Podcast from 1 show to 253 shows in 2.5 years. At the current pace, we'll be at 500 shows by 5 years exactly. So we're putting about 100 shows a year. And we will be competing with the biggest business shows in the space simply because we committed to more content. That has skyrocketed us, So in my experience with social media, yes, the quality has to be there. Yes, it has to be good content. But the truth is, more is more. There's nothing wrong with doing more.
I just stuck with few things. Colin, is that the blue sky method, like the
like
show? No, I know blue sky was going to be part of the name. So
It is.
method is a surprise for me.
The podcast is going to be the Blue Sky Method.
Love it.
Yeah, huge congratulations. I'll be watching it. No, I'm super excited.
Thank Kelly, because that name came up in the last hour.
Yeah.
There you go. He's the inspiration, the podfather, as you call him. So Kelly,
He's the hope dealer, right?
He's the hope dealer. Yeah.
I know, man. I've been thinking about this because I've been putting it off for a long time. But I'm like, the further I go down this path, I'm like, I think I need to teach podcasting. Like, obviously, we're doing the podcast playbook series right now. So for anybody listening on the Business Development Podcast, I don't know how many episodes it's going to be at this point. I'm realizing that I'm only able to talk to like so much in each one. It could be like a 10-part series. But I'm teaching everything I know about podcasting from my lessons in the Business Development Podcast over on the Business Development Podcast right now. It's being called Podcast Playbook. We started at part 1, which was like, should you even do this? What would you want to do? Part 2 was very much talking about the equipment. We got into part 3, which launched today, which is talking about how do you name your show? How do you design the cover art for your show? How do you pick the intro and outro music for your show? And then obviously, how do you lock in your show down so it is yours forever? So we're walking through everything. We're going to talk about that, editing, what hosting platforms to use, how to plan your show, how to set your show up for success. So over the next while, I just committed to this, man. I just thought, I've been asked so many times about how do you start a podcast that why don't we just make this part of the Business Development Podcast? So, but that could lead into podcast coaching. Don't quote me on that. I'm thinking about it, but I do have a massive passion for podcasting, as you know. So it could lead into that. I may turn into a podcast coach as well.
Well, and for anybody that, if you think it matters, if you watch what I'm doing, it's a derivative of what Kelly told me you have to be doing. I was so excited about 10 days ago. I said, hey, look, I bought this equipment. And Kelly goes, it's interesting. That's good. I was like, he said, how do you pronounce it? And at that point, I knew I just ordered off Amazon. So for the first time in my life, which was really nice, I did not throw the box out for anything. So then I just quietly put it back in the box. And this is true, VJ. It's not a word of a lie. Like if you look at the side of my headphones now, and if you look at my mic, Kelly does this to you. So yesterday, I went to Long and McQuaid, and when I got in my truck, I took a picture of the bag and I sent it to Kelly. And he called me 1 nanosecond later, and he's like, "How much did that bag cost you?" And I said, a lot more than my Amazon purchase.
But you wait it out.
So in reality, anyone listening here, it's true. I guess I'm the prodigy. I am following along as I'm learning the course as well. And as of an hour ago, I have a name for the show. I actually have proper equipment. So I did commit that I'm going to be live for August.
Amazing. No, I can't wait.
That has nothing to do with quality or quantity. Mine will probably be a little less quantity to start, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. It's just understanding what you can commit to. Remember, you can always do more, right? And I didn't really think about that. I'll be honest, my mistake set us up for success. That's the simple truth. I would not be where we're at. I'm not even sure, Colin, that the show would exist had I not committed to 2 episodes a week and basically sprinted to where we're at today, right? Yeah. But man, I had no idea what I was committing to at that point either. So I think that's kind of the interesting standpoint. But with any content, I truly believe this. You're absolutely right. You don't want to put out garbage content. Quality really does matter. But why can't you have high quality and put out more content? Why not? And I think that's an important question to ask yourself if you're hearing this right now. There's no reason that you can't take another 5 minutes to add some quality, to add some connectivity, to add some humanness to your post, to make sure that the image you take is high quality, is framed correctly, right? There's no reason you can't do that. There's no reason that you can't take another minute to edit that video. Literally, the tools exist to script, things like that. You can edit video in seconds, literally. It's so fast. So there's no reason that you can't create high quality quickly now. And I think maybe that's important for people to take away from this episode. There's a lot of tools available to you to help you create high quality. Maybe one of the things we should speak to, guys, is the utilization of AI in your content creation. Because I think, in my experience, over and over and over again, when I automate my posts, and let's get real, there are some posts that I automate, guys. There just is. There's certain things that I have to automate. The business development podcast post, when we're doing episode launches, stuff like that. Yeah, I automate it. Why? Because it has all of the data from the show. I literally uploaded the whole transcript. It knows the show inside and out, and it creates a pretty great description or a post for me to utilize on LinkedIn. There are certain things like that. Automation absolutely helps. It's mandatory. I just don't have the time to hand type out every single post for a show launch. It just doesn't work, okay? Right. And it doesn't have to, because I just need to show you guys what's going on in the show, give you the link to it, and you can hear the real deal thing simply, right? Yeah. But if I'm posting about a supper out with my family, why would I automate that one? Why wouldn't I hand type up utilizing Kelly Kennedy's thoughts, feelings, emotions that is frankly easier to connect to? Easier to connect to for everybody listening, for everybody who's been a parent, for everybody who's been an entrepreneur, to be able to just connect to that genuine, authentic message. It takes, sure, a little bit more time to hand type out that message. And absolutely, you can run it through AI to say, hey, can you maybe just help me with this message if it's not resonating the way I want or the way I want it to?
Yeah.
But truly, the more that you can be yourself, be your authentic self in that messaging, shoot that picture, take that personal video, hand type that message, the more human you're being, the more relatable you're being, the higher the chance that post really takes off for you.
Yeah. Now, on that note, I've said this before, but I want to come back to our conversation because I think it kind of aligns perfectly for today's topic. There's a lot of competition, and people think, okay, fine, there's too much noise out there and things like that. And in Naval's quote, I want to quote that back again. As he said that escape competition with authenticity, because no one can be as good as at being you. So no one can compete with you being you, right? So I think you can escape that competition just being yourself. And I think, Kelly, you do it really, really well. I think it's not about the numbers or anything like that. You go beyond, you're being authentic and you genuinely connect with people. And I think that goes a long way. I felt the same way because that is a kind of those kind of authentic conversations actually kind of missed in society. That's one reason I was watching more podcasts. And that is the reason I'm even engaging with podcasts and talking to guests. And then when I could think of some pillars that I could really speak to where about leadership, technology, and humanity, those are the things I really care. I think, I don't know if when I say I care about it, kind of becomes cliche, but I think those are the kind of topics that keeps me curious, I guess.
Yeah.
So what are modern leaders doing today?
Love that. Love that.
How is technology impacting the society today, and how can the humanity thrive, right? Instead of suffering, how can we thrive as a global planet? I don't know. It's kind of both means the same thing, but how can we thrive as a planet?
Yeah,
right?
Well, I love that you touched on curiosity as the driver, right? You should always speak to what you're curious about. Colin and me were talking this morning about, the structure for his show, right? We were talking about, do you want to do solo? Do you want to do interview style? Do you want to do something that's more hybrid? And I was explaining to him that, he mentioned, Kelly, you've always been really good at interviewing. And I said, honestly, it's because it coincided with the launch of my own business. I'd only had capital for about 1.5 years, 2 years when I launched the BDP. So really new entrepreneur, guys. And I was just I was eating it up. So I was interviewing people that I wanted to learn from, longtime executives, longtime entrepreneurs, people that have been through it, that have the lessons to help poor little Kelly figure out how the heck do you do this entrepreneurship thing. And so I was really able to come to each interview with true curiosity, with true, I want to learn just as much as I want my guests to learn, right? And I think if you can come to anything you do with a level of curiosity, not with I know everything, with there's something I don't know and I'm going to figure out what that is, it's going to make everything you do content-wise better.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one question, Colin. Actually, I had a question. I forgot about it. We were speaking about the real estate and the content people put out. I've started the business networking in the last 3-4 years. I've been meeting a lot of people. I was also met a ton of realtors and real estate people. Maybe you're the best person to ask. Maybe this doesn't align to today's topic, but I was curious. My curiosity brain kind of provoked me to ask this question. Please don't mind. I mean, every time I connect with the realtor, I love them, the energy, the passion, but they always have their picture on the business card. No one else does that. Is there a reason it's being done? Because I have like 1,000 business cards, but all the realtor ones have their faces on it.
No,
Is there a reason they do it?
You know what? It's a few years old. They do that, and then they also do this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They cross their arms, which means you're folded and you're close to your people you're dealing with, right?
Right.
It's a new thing where they've gone in the next level, and now their faces are on their signs.
Yeah.
It's taking up half their sign, which I guess like to be recognized, because you don't want to be just another name, right? So the number one problem is everybody licensed has to work for a brokerage, right? So you can choose, say, between 50 brokerages. Well, if us three on here are all in the same brokerage and you have branding guidelines, the only difference is the spelling of your name and your phone number, right? So you won't be remembered or recognized. So they do that, and they put their face on there. Where the problem with that one lies in, they get their, like, I'll put it on myself. I don't have my picture on my card. But let's say I got my glamour shot, right, when I was 22, right? And I kept that same picture till I'm 59, right? Well, I'm not that person anymore. Nobody recognizes that person. Like, now, who brought Mr. Magoo, right? And where did that young guy go? Like, what happened? And so the hard part is, I hear people say, why did they put that picture on there? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? I don't know. And I don't do it. But I think the opposite of that is, I think, attractive branding, right? Have your brand presence be very attractive, and people like, so I'll go back to business cards, right? It's like having a brochure, which I still believe is very important. The thickness of your business card matters, right? That's a quality card. That's a good card. I get a lot of comments on that. That's a great card. Right. And you know what? If my picture was on it, I don't know, because at one point I did get pictures, a headshot taken for some cards or advertising. And more times than not, I'd have people that I know go like, "What's with your hair?" Or like, always. And so, it's already taken away from what the purpose of what it is. Right. You know, or I just, the way it is, I have a lazy eye. Right. And so I always have your friends are the ones who are the non-nicest to you. They're like, "What's with your eye?" I don't know. Thanks. It's like saying, "Why are you limping?" I was born that way. Like, it's just the way it is. You don't talk about those things, right? But everybody's different. But you're right. And I have to give it to realtors, because I am one, is they're probably one of the best persons that, if you're in a networking event, you're going to know who the realtor is in the room.
Yeah. Instantly.
Somebody might be shy, right? "Hey, I'm Kelly Kennedy, business development. Who am I? Oh, I'm Colin Harms. I'm a realtor. Do you want to buy a house?" And I actually have you in my CRM before we even put your water down. Like, you're getting listings. What's that? Oh, I just sent you a listing, right? Like, they're hungry and they're at it. I don't know how long they stay at it, longevity, but that goes along with their picture. So anyway.
Got it.
We should head to wrap up here, dudes.
Yeah. Why don't you close us up today, Colin?
Okay. So I will close up with this. Consistency. Focus on being consistently valuable. That's what I was trying to say, right? And Kelly, that's why I think you doing week after week after week after week, even though you said maybe it was a mistake committing to that, but it proved it out. And that's where the longevity is going to come. Consistently valuable. That's the message we want. When I jotted that down, what came to me was, the reason we have a mentor, or we go to a mentor, is because they're consistently valuable, right? We know, okay, here's my time, my mentor moment. That's when I'm going to go to the Darren Hardy, or you're going to have a personal one that you meet with. You're going to come loaded with a few questions, because you're going to get answers. And Kelly, that's what I see in your show. Same with you, Vijay, with yours, right? Pathfinders. Consistently valuable information that I can take from. And that's what I'm going there for. I'm not going there for comedy. I'm going there to take something with me and implement it. So
Oh man, and I feel like, okay, I was gonna let you close up on that, but I do feel like there's one thing. There's one thing now that you touched on that's important in anything you do, whether it's podcasting, business development, entrepreneurship, anything. Period. Posting, social media, consistency. Right? Listen, not every business development podcast show I put out was my best show ever. It just wasn't. It's impossible. Not every show can be the best. It just is what it is. But you always get out a show, right? If I commit to every Wednesday and Sunday, you get a show, guys, you're getting a show, right? They're not all going to resonate with everyone. Some people are going to resonate with different episodes differently. You don't control that. You don't know what shows are going to resonate with people or not. What you do know is that if you consistently over time put out content, you are going to help people. If you consistently over time release social media content, you are going to make an impact and start helping people. Don't always think about it as I need to have the best post every time. Listen, impossible. Once again, the algorithms, you don't know which ones they're going to pick up. What's more important is that you are consistently putting out content. So if you commit to putting out 3 posts a week, come hell or high water, put out 3 posts a week. Trust me, over time, it's going to work for you.
Yeah, I think one point. I think if we close without it, it may not be justified to this topic. It's of course we got just couldn't resist adding it, because one thing is like people are also like slightly nervous about posting content. What if it's wrong, right? What if it's not as good? Not if it's not as high quality that you guys are all talking about, right? We spoke about a lot of quality content. As of course it matters, but at the same time, just be courageous. Just go and post it out there. I think I learned by doing. You learn by doing as well. Who is listening, right? So you will do it. Have the courage to go and post it. Whatever you think is right can be of value to someone. So I think courage and curiosity kind of can play into this. So have the courage to go and post it, and you will learn over time as well. Your quality will improve. There's no other way around it. So I just wanted to add that. Colin, you can close it. Sorry.
No, good. Great points. Absolutely. Thank you again, guys, for co-host, for being here today.
Likewise.
Good content once again, and thank you everybody for listening. And don't be shy, check out .live, the website. Vijay is keeping that very current. He's probably the most current of anybody on here. I don't know how you do it actually, but thankful that you do. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great week.
See you, everyone. Bye-bye.